Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Pigskin Addicts back again with another video. So as we get closer to game time, right, today is Thursday. We are 2 days away from game time here. I am going to give you some of the reasons why I believe the Chargers are going to pull this thing out. Now, if you clicked on this video, you know who I'm going to be talking about, right? Obviously is Austin Ekeler. This dude is probably one of the most disrespected stars in the league, and I feel, and I'm pretty sure, I know that he is going to have a pretty big impact against the Jaguars on Saturday night. Now, let me rewind you back to the Week 3 matchup. Obviously, you know, Jacksonville came into SoFi, and they put a pretty good whooping on the Chargers. It's one thing we can't deny, right? It's facts, it happened, but the full story was not told that day. Obviously, that was Justin Herbert's first game after the rib injury. He was nowhere close to where he normally is, right? That is obviously something that has to be pointed out. But I think the thing that everybody really understand, and I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about this, Austin Ekeler was really not featured at all in the offense, right? And, you know, you can't really blame anybody. Justin Herbert was not right that game. He probably shouldn't even played, but Austin Ekeler did not play his normal role, right? He was somebody that was minimized. His role was completely minimized. And to prove that to you, here are his stats. Here are his rushing stats from the Week 3 game at Jacksonville. 4 carries, 5 yards. That's how many yards that Austin Ekeler ran for against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 5 yards. So when you're looking at an impact player, right, when you're looking at a guy who you think is going to maybe, you know, put, you know, the game in the favor of his team, it's Austin Ekeler. Austin Ekeler is going to play a huge role. Now, that Week 3 game, he did have 8 catches for 48 yards. But again, that's really not saying a whole lot. It's only 6 yards a catch. So it's really nothing to speak of. I believe that Austin Ekeler is going to have a huge impact for this team, and I think he is going to be the reason why the Chargers are able to pull this off. Now, obviously, Austin Ekeler, I would bet all the money that I have right now that he is going to amass way more than 5 rushing yards, right? So, you know, you're already going to be improving on that point. But I think the matchups for Austin Ekeler, right, him being a matchup guy, this being the playoffs, right, where matchups really kind of rise to the top, right, the importance of different matchups that you have. I think he is a matchup nightmare for the Jaguars. The Jaguars, their defense has been playing well. They've been playing better throughout the season, and, you know, especially down the stretch, right, they have been playing well. But they do have some holes, and there are some things that you can exploit, and I think Austin Ekeler is that guy. We already know who he is, right? Over 100 catches. He led the NFL in touchdowns again for the second year in a row, after not scoring a touchdown for the first 3 weeks of the season, I think it was. So obviously he has a nose for the end zone, and I think that is really going to play the difference for the Chargers. Now, this run game for the Chargers, obviously it hasn't been anywhere near the top, right? It really hasn't even been average. It's been a below average running game. We know that, we understand that, but the team also understands it as well too. So when you're looking at this matchup here, as far as the running game goes, I don't really care about yards, right? I don't think the Chargers care about yards. And if you're a fan, you shouldn't care about yards either. It's about the impact of the runs that the Chargers do have, right? Again, Austin Ekeler has a nose for the end zone. So if the Chargers get into the red zone and, you know, if they are able to run the ball successfully in the red zone, if Austin Ekeler is able to find the end zone a couple of times, to me, that is a successful run game. It's not about the yards. Austin Ekeler is not a Derrick Henry type, right? He doesn't need a lot of carries to have a big impact. When he's out on the field, he makes the impact, and he has a nose for the end zone. So he will score touchdowns. And if he scores touchdowns on the ground, that's a successful run game to me. If Austin Ekeler finishes with 14 carries for 40 yards and 2 touchdowns, that's success. That's success on the ground for the Chargers. And again, they don't run the ball a lot. I do not expect them to run the ball a lot. I don't expect them to come out and have 30 carries. But the runs that they do have, they have to count, right? So if the Chargers, if they're running for 4 yards a carry, that's good, right? That is, for most teams, like an 8-yard carry, right? Because the Chargers don't run the ball a lot, a 4-yard carry is like an 8-yard carry for them, right? That means they're going to be able to get in 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, then you're going to be able to do pretty much whatever you want to do offensively, right? So I think that's where it counts. The really, really, really good, valuable runs. It's not about how many runs you have. It's not about how many yards you have. It's how many valuable runs can you have. How many runs can put the Charger offense in second and third and short. That's what I'm looking for. If they're able to do that, they will be fine offensively whether or not Mike Williams plays. So I think Austin Ekeler is going to play a very, very huge role. Obviously, I believe Josh Kelly is going to play a huge role as well, too. If you're talking about running backs, right, you're obviously talking about running back duos. Just because Josh Kelly has played well this season. Ever since he's came back from injury, he's carried the ball really well. He has a lot of explosion, and he's a guy that can get to the second level of a defense, and he can rip off some big runs as well, too. So I'm looking for him to play well alongside Austin Ekeler in the backfield. But I believe Austin Ekeler is a matchup nightmare for the Jaguars, right? Depending on how the Jaguars want to play defensively, right? Again, their defense has been playing better. If they want to go man, if they want to bring pressure, that means Austin Ekeler is going to be one-on-one with linebackers, right? When he's not, in blocking, when he runs a route, he's going to be one-on-one with linebackers, more than likely. If that happens, give me Austin Ekeler 10 times out of 10. I don't care who the linebacker is. Give me Austin Ekeler 10 times out of 10 coming out of the backfield. I trust him to win that one-on-one matchup with the linebacker. So if the Jaguars want to do that, he's always going to be there. He's always going to be open. He catches the ball really, really well. Obviously, over 100 catches. So he is a guy that you can look for, in a hot route. He can win his matchups one-on-one with linebackers. Now, if the Jaguars want to go zone, right, if they want to play coverage against Herbert and maybe just try to let their pass rush, rush forward and try to get home, if they play zone, Austin Ekeler can have just as big of an impact in zone, especially if the Chargers use him in the middle of the field, right? He can take away linebackers, right? Your linebackers cannot drop as deep as they want to with Austin Ekeler there in the middle of the field, ready to receive the ball. You can't drop them. They're going to have to come up. They're going to have to make plays. If that happens, then it's going to open up the middle of the field for the tight ends, for a Donald Parham, for a Gerald Everett, right? Possibly for a Keenan Allen, maybe Mike Williams if he plays, but it's going to open up the middle of the field. And I think the Charger receivers, tight ends, they work the middle of the field well, right? They are pretty damn good against zone coverage. Obviously, Herbert has a strong arm, so he can get the ball in tight windows. That's something they've done all season long, and it works. It works, right? It may not be the explosive offense that a lot of people want, but it works. It gets first downs. It takes time off the clock, and it puts the Chargers ahead of the sticks, right? Puts them ahead of schedule. They're not behind schedule, and I think if they take that approach in to Jacksonville, I think that they will be fine. Again, with or without Mike Williams. Basically, the Jaguars are going to see an Austin Ekeler that they did not see in week 3. And that is my whole entire point here. That's the overview. When your star running back runs the ball for 5 yards the entire game, right? You play this team again, that's not going to happen. I don't care how good the Jaguars defense is playing. They're not going to be able to hold him to 5 yards, right? Obviously, he is going to catch passes. That's what he does. He does it every game. But I'm looking for him to get good quality runs on the ground. I don't have a number of how many rushing yards he will have. I don't know how many attempts he will have. All I know is that he will make do. He will make do with the attempts that he does have. So this is something that I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to the Chargers really, really, really feeding Ekeler the ball. And I think he's the guy that you can ride all the way to victory. But that's all I got for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Really, really appreciate it. Shout out to all my new subscribers. Really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like this video. Smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing down below as well, too. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content. Probably get into a live stream. Maybe we'll see. Or I might just save it until Saturday. But we'll see. But I will be back with more content tomorrow. Until next time.